All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. I am Tatia Davenport, CASBO CEO, and my guest this morning is Keith Butler. He is the Chief Business Official at Coronado. Is that correct, Keith?
Back in the day, Torrance now. Torrance.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I should have known that. I was like, I shouldn't have guessed, but Keith and I have just not only known each other but been friends for a very long time. He's very rich and deep history with CASBO. So thank you for being here today, Keith, and thanks for all of you for joining our new member orientation. We're excited to just hear from you today and share with you the value of CASBO. So as I get started, the first thing I wanted to do was to ask you what your level of experience is with CASBO. And let me just bring up a slide here really quickly. And that is going to range from you're new, you barely know what CASBO means in terms of the acronym, the California Association of School Business Officials. So that would be a level 1. And then if you're somewhat familiar in chat, let us know that you're number 2, was somewhat familiar with CASBO, and 3, a seasoned veteran. So let's take a look. Put that in chat if you would. A 1, 2, or 3. What's your familiarity with CASBO? All right. Wow, look at Antoinette there with 18 years. Thank you for being here. One of the exciting things is that CASBO changes very often. We are constantly innovating and adding to our lineup. And so wonderful to see you. And for those of you that are brand new, some of these folks in here are those experienced folks can also serve as a part of your professional network to help you navigate school business and help you navigate all things CASBO. And so really just use this as an opportunity, if you can, to jot down some of those names and connect with folks that might be available to you. So jumping right in with our presentation today, the first thing I wanted you to know was that CASBO this year is 95 years old. We were founded in 1928, and we are the membership organization for school business professionals in our state. And so when we talk about school business professionals, we're talking about the risk management, transportation, child nutrition, human resources, payroll, accounting and finance. Certainly that chief business official is one of those critical roles overseeing those areas. If I didn't say technology and transportation, child nutrition might be repetitive. Technology, I mentioned, just a very large breadth of areas that we cover in our organization: facilities, maintenance, and operations. So all things operations to make sure that the entire child is cared for when they arrive. And so often we hear about the instructional side, but we're here to focus and support the business side. And the third bullet on there that you see is really around the fact that our organization is member driven. And I'm going to ask Keith to sort of talk from his perspective and share what member driven means. Keith?
At least I unmuted before I pretended to start talking. So that's a good thing, I think. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. And yes, member driven. I started in CASBO in 2010. Antoinette, you beat me by a bunch, but well done. And that's after coming from private industry and working in some other areas as well, higher education. And what I quickly saw was that at the San Diego County of Education, we were a heavy user of CASBO. And back at that time, we had what were called professional councils that developed information that would turn into presentations at our annual conference. And so by member driven, we were literally at the ground level putting together topics of interest and getting more information that helped me do my job at the county office better. I wasn't the CBO there. That was another jump down the road. But I started off as a member of CASBO, not as a CBO, just learning from the others around me. And then I heard about the local board for our region for CASBO, and that seemed a great way to get to know people. And so I joined in on that, took an active part, ended up over the years rising up to be president of the local section for CASBO as well, the San Diego Imperial section at the time. And everything that I saw was these were our members who were trying to figure out what we needed to know and how to provide that information to help us grow, including building a network. And we're going to hear a little bit more about that in a second. But everything I've seen in CASBO, including being a member of the board of directors now, as I am, is everything that we do comes from us. We're bubbling up ideas. We have exceptional CASBO staff that helps us as well. But the heart of the organization are all of you.
Thanks, Keith. And so what we have done to simplify, right, there's so many activities and there are so many moving pieces and parts to CASBO that what we've done is to simplify it into three major buckets. We are here to educate in the school business profession, and we'll talk about courses, programs, our online learning, all the way to certification. So deep education history, advocating for really sound policies at the state and local level, and then also this professional network of support. So Keith, if you could also speak to that.
Sure. So for me, and it's interesting, Tasha mentioned earlier how CASBO has evolved over time, and that is certainly the case in all three of these areas. So the annual conference has been there for decades, obviously, as a great way to learn, not just about your particular silo's a bad word, but your particular area of expertise, but you can learn about other areas and how they impact yours. So the annual conference is a great pollination between the different strands of school business. But CASBO has evolved. The school business university that you now have access to has an incredible variety of free courses that you can sign up for and take for yourself, but also, excuse me, that you can send out to your staff as well for them to do work on and learn. And again, lots of free offerings, some paid offerings as well. But School Business University is on-demand training. It's not just annual conference now. And then also the roundtables that have started up in about the past 18 months or so. Many different roundtables by, again, strand of school business. There's payroll, there's special education, there's CBO strand, fiscal, many strands of women in leadership that really help you to focus and learn more about your particular area in school business. And again, just within the last 18 months, a huge advance. Moving to advocacy, back in the day, we all kind of thought, yeah, CASBO will advocate for us. They've got paid people that go up on to the Capitol in Sacramento, and they'll do all of it. What we now know is having input from multiple stakeholders in multiple districts that goes out to your legislators makes an incredible amount of difference. The mass weighing in on issues that are important to us in school business makes all the difference in how legislation finally looks. So even just this morning, there was a call that went out from CASBO to members that if you wanted to put in your support for AB 781, which is a way of simplifying what we have to post in terms of our notifications of a public hearing for budget. It's a small thing, but it's important. CASBO put out a way for us to participate, and literally by just putting in my address, my name, the school district that I'm a part of, and clicking a button, that went off to my legislator, who's already responded and said, thank you very much for your input. We have received it and we'll review. So just with a few clicks, I've been able to advocate, and CASBO's advocacy, we're now have a seat at the table in a way that we did not before with all of the school business organizations. We are seen as a true leader in school business, and we get the government, the state government turning to us and asking questions about how this impacts schools. So strong advocacy network, it'll only get better. And really the last one, but to me, it's meant so much to my career is the networking. Again, annual conference back in the day, the professional councils, but now through the roundtables, through events that the CASBO puts on and how we reach out to people, you're really able to build a network of people you can call when you have a question. That's what a network is. Somebody that you can call if you need to know something, somebody to commiserate with when times are tough, but you're going to be able to get connected with a lot of people who know your strand of school business, who know other parts of school business, and are really there to help you learn and grow. CASBO does an incredible job helping and mentoring and having people grow in the profession. So lots of words from me, but as you can tell, I'm sold.
Thanks, Keith. Thanks for joining us this morning. I know you've got a great, crazy, busy day. Heading up the business services for Torrance, which I visited you. That's why I can't believe I had the wrong city in there, but that's my geographic challenges. Thanks for being with us today.
Of course, thank you.
All right, you bet. So we're going to dive right in, and we're going to basically go through. I want to show you the website, and we're going to go through the website a little bit so you know where to find a lot of the things that have been discussed. Before we do, we've got a few membership types. I'm focusing on the LEAs today, the local education agencies, the districts, if you will. But we have membership for the LEAs, the county offices of education, charters, ROP, and the joint power authorities. So that's under our organizational membership. We also have a business category for companies that serve schools. And then we have retiree memberships as well. So we're going to focus primarily today on the organizational membership. We are recording this session, so you will receive both the recording as well as the slides. But the very first thing, I'm going to show you how to do this. The very first thing you're going to want to do is to complete your profile. That helps us to give you information that's very specific to your profession, should you choose. And it is where we house all of your certification information, your purchases, and so forth. I'll show you that in a moment. But this first things first is very important for us and yourself to stay connected in the areas that we've already early on discussed. So let me jump out here to our website, because this is really what I want to take us through in terms of advocate, in terms of the educate, advocate, and professional networking. So the first thing, let me get my little zoom out of the way here. The first thing that we want to do is, of course, log in. I'm logged in right now. So you have this login button that you see here at the top right. But that member profile, let me just take you right there. It's right next to your login button. And here's where you're going to see the first request for me to share my password. Provide my password. And there I am. So here, if you see on the far left, the orders that I might have for event registrations, courses that I have taken are going to be in there. If I have my certifications and my continuing education units, this portal is really all things relating to you. So that member profile is critical to get completed early on. Jumping right in. So I'm under Learn and Grow, and this is one of the most high valued aspects of the CASBO membership, and Keith referred to it a little bit earlier, but let me show you a couple things. Under Learn and Grow, I'm not going to dig into it too deeply, but we have a career center. This is where you can look for jobs, and this is where you can post your resume should you like around, again, the school business community. We'll see both that resume, or you can search jobs in the career center. The one I really want to focus on is CASBO SBU, which is School Business University. So when your district or LEA or county office purchase the CASBO membership, everyone in business services has access to School Business University, and the majority of the programs and courses in there are free. They are for you to grow your skills in your own area of expertise, or say you'd like to know more about budgeting or advanced budgeting. You have courses that you can take in there as well. And so CASBO SBU, it is a separate system, so you'll see a little bit of a pause here for a moment. And when you get here, you can see I'm signed in. You're going to want to sign into your account, but you start to see all of the content that we have. You can search by what is live, live facilitator led, self-paced learning, right? This category, you're working through those on-demand courses yourself, and then in person, the schedule would be there as well. So I'm just going to take a quick look, right, in accounting, just as an example. Here we have our welcome webinars of today. We have payroll concepts that was live and online, live facilitated September 7th and 8th. It's coming up, excuse me, hasn't happened yet. But you see our content relating to everything accounting, right? So what happens, I just want to mention to you, is you see this little dollar sign. Don't worry about that. You basically look at the course, you add it to your cart, but you will see in most cases that is a $0 item. So it does have a cart. You do have to check out, if you will. And again, all of this behind the scenes, the profile is so important because now we're updating your profile as to what courses you have taken. That's going to be important for you, maybe in your performance review, or maybe if you choose that you want to be a presenter with CASBO, volunteer leader, and presenting with us. We're going to want to know what your level of expertise is in that particular category. So CASBO, School Business University, very significant in terms of the value for the membership. We have a lot of ways you can look at this. Again, here's a calendar. Again, anything learn and grow. Here are our workshops that are posted, the CBO certification, special ed accounting, look at that coming up, basics of school law. So again, anything relating to the learning and the growing of your profession is going to be found here. In our certification area, we have certainly our Chief Business Official certification. The details are in that category. We also have finance that is being refined right now, human resources certifications, and so forth. Our events page is going to list those really big signature events. I'm going to focus in on our professional roundtables. Keith mentioned those. But again, just scrolling here, our Chief Business Official or CBO Symposium annual conference is taking place in Palm Springs in April. I'm going to jump in here to the professional roundtables. As anyone that's new or even having been here for a bit, this is a relatively new ad. So our professional roundtables, let me just talk about those for a moment. For most of the disciplines, those are on a monthly basis. I'll focus on the women in leadership. We have a roundtable. I think that list has grown to about 800 women. It is not exclusive to women. It's really driven in terms of the content by what women have brought up. For example, how to be better negotiators in their salary, right? How to resolve conflict. So it's welcome. Anyone is welcome to that. It is once a month, 8 a.m. And it is an open forum. A lot of times we'll have a topic, but we also cover what's top of mind for anyone. We have for our chief business officials twice a month. That is a private roundtable only for chief business officials, but I mention it because the CBOs come together and say, how are you handling this particular new law? Or, how are you handling this budget concern, declining enrollment? And they talk about their strategies. It's a very unstructured engagement. So that is a wonderful way, if you're new, to jump into a roundtable, bring questions that you have to the roundtable, and get those questions answered by some experienced folks on there as well as new across the board. You see the accounting roundtable, CBO, special education. We have a whole lineup of those roundtables. Those are typically, again, 8 o'clock in the morning, once a month. So I'm going to move on, do a quick time check here. We are running fast this morning. I want to also talk here in Informed and Involved about our sections. We have 7 sections throughout the state. And here's a nice map. It tells you what counties, when I click on that, it'll tell me what counties are covered in that Shasta Cascades section in that example. And each of our sections has its own board of directors. And it also has, as Keith mentioned, professional counsels for all of the disciplines that we cover. So at the top, I ran down that list. We have an accounting professional counsel, transportation, child nutrition, payroll, maintenance and operations, right? There's a dozen of them. And professional counsels are volunteer leaders who work in districts, and they come together to say, this is really top of mind. We need training on, we need a toolkit on these particular topics. So in each of our 7 sections, a dozen of those professional counsels are meeting, and you are more than welcome to attend those professional counsel meetings to hear what the issues are, hear what we're trying to resolve in all of those sections, then roll up and we have a larger state conversation to make sure we can be consistent in what we're offering across the state. And so under informed and involved, again, here are your sections. And then when we look at, scroll down that page, Shasta, their section fall conference is coming up. Sacramento's, when is theirs? They've got a couple of save the dates, right? So you're able to see what's happening more locally for you. And then also in this area, those committees and councils, as I was talking about, here's their board of directors. So if you have a question, hey, how do I get involved? You can reach out to these leadership committees. And then again, these professional councils, accounting charters, here's that whole list that I tried to rattle off earlier, and I apologize. I'll be more polished on that next time. There's a lot. So here's your professional counsel. And if you click on that, it tells you who's in that professional counsel. Reach out and we can certainly point you in the right direction from there. Okay, I'm going to move to the sources and services. Another really key opportunity for you, especially if you're new, and especially for those of you that maybe aren't new to CASBO, but this is a new enhancement. And with all of the laws and the plans constantly changing, one area I really want to focus you on are these CASBO communities. So think about this. Maybe you're new to your job, or maybe you're thinking about changing jobs. You've got the School Business University, start taking those courses. You can jump into any of those roundtables. The only one that is closed is for CBOs only. Jump into those roundtables, listen, ask questions, or just observe. And then you have these communities. So this is an online community. So you're logged into CASBO. You now have access to these online communities to type out a question. Let me just take an example here with our accounting community. Those professional counsels that I mentioned, they're in here answering questions. You're getting group and peer sharing. But here we have Gertrude, who asked, is anyone here on Escape? We see there were 6 comments, 19 views of this. And you're able to upload tools, Excel spreadsheets, checklists that folks have. And we also populate this with content that CASBO has as well. So again, just a great way for you to stay connected and learn some of these supports and services. And that's in those CASBO communities. Those are online communities. We have amazing publications. I'm going to highlight just a couple of them here. Our School Business Magazine comes out quarterly. It tends to focus on leadership type topics. Our news breaks are for that advocacy. These are very timely. Something just hit. We really need an opinion, or hey, heads up, something's changing from the state. You're going to have a news break, and that's for our advocacy in our governmental relations. And then we have California School Business News, and this is our monthly newsletter. You'll see volunteer positions opening, awards and recognition across the state. Some of those super timely topics that are upon us, but we have a little bit more time and may not be advocacy related in that example. So that's our newsletter that you see. Okay, let me see. I believe that's what I wanted to focus on there. Let me jump over to advocate and impact. I see I have 6 minutes left. I'm going to be very, very thorough on my time here. Okay, so in our advocacy and impact area, I've often heard folks say, "Gosh, I'm really not that political." We are nonpartisan. We really focus on a bill by bill effort. We do not run candidates. CASBO looks at each bill and says, how feasible is this in terms of long-term sustainability? Are there any dollars to support this coming from the state? There are wonderful ideas out there. In fact, our legislators get a chance to introduce 4,800 ideas. Typically, we'll see about 300 of those being education related. And our voice matters. We are able to say, wow, love the idea of electric buses. They are not of high quality at the exact moment. They are not able to get the kids where they need to know. And in fact, legislators, last week, a bus is turning the corner, the power steering gives out because the battery has died and they have no power steering. We inform with data and facts. We do not inform with emotions. And so the reason I bring you here is our news breaks, as I mentioned. Here's something's happening, something's changing. You would receive that in your inbox, this list, the past ones. Here are the bills. Look at this. This gives us all of the key legislation. And you see right here on the right-hand side, CASBO's in support. These are bills that make sense to us and we feel are good for education and the future of education. The minus sign there means we'll provide support if you amend it with our recommendations. And then we've got the bills that we absolutely oppose for a number of reasons. And so a couple of things here. We have our campaigns. Keith was mentioning that call to action that went out today. We are basically saying this bill is right on the cusp of being heard. We need our legislators, both local, and when you enter your zip code, it sends to your local legislators, and in many cases updates the governor. So all at once, folks will see 200, 300, 400, 500 emails popping in saying, wow, we have a lot of opposition on this. This is really important for us in school business. Again, lots of ideas, but when you have to implement them and they feel like they're almost impossible, we don't win every one of them, but we have a really strong voice, and it's important, regardless of your experience, that you get involved and can simply click on our call to action. Here's one. Ask your legislator, vote yes on AB 721. This just went out this morning. You can customize and add a couple of bullet points from your perspective that might be very unique to yours, but you can leave it as it is. You're saying vote yes, you enter your email information, your zip code, boom, it goes out to your local legislator. It's an incredibly impactful and powerful way for us to advocate. And then finally, here in CASBO and you can find out how to locate us, the staff. We are hired staff. We are subject matter experts in educating, in adult learning, in building certification programs, in advocacy, full-time advocacy professionals, and certainly in building professional networks. So when we talk about being member-driven, we're the experienced subject matter experts in that field, and we have to have the subject matter expertise from the field. So with that, I am going to stop sharing. Let me see, there's lots. Donna, I just see a super quick question here. First, we're so happy. As of yesterday, LAUSD became a member. So yes, on that news. Let me just see one more thing here. Share my slides one more time. I know I've just got a couple minutes left, but I want to make sure I cover all of this information. All right, so you will get this deck. Again, we've covered our education area. Here are these roundtables, our symposium, just some easy to find quick reference for what we've already showed you on the website. A new one here is our Women in Leadership Conference. It's just been added. And of course, our massive CASBO conference. I think last year we had over 3,200 just this past April. Our training programs, again, there are the little modules. There are 2- and 3-day programs you see here in transportation, payroll. We continue to build those out. We have a very aggressive training schedule, so always check back, and that new information is in the newsletter. Our advocacy we've talked about, and we have also covered all of these areas in which you have that professional network of support. The final slide is really, if you are experienced or even new and you have time that you want to volunteer to this amazing profession, I just encourage you to email us at countmein@CASBO, put an area that you're interested, presenting, being a local volunteer around your payroll topic and helping lead others through that really challenging field. Advocacy, we have advocacy networks all over the state. So put your information in there. I am also listed there. Reach out to me directly. And with that, I want to thank you for being a part of this. I know that we have some questions in here that we did not get to. We will respond to those. Thank you for being a part of our conversation today. Thank you for choosing CASBO. And I look forward to seeing more of you in this amazing community of professionals. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.